Today, we are going to talk about the prices of groceries here in Switzerland. So let's get right into it. If you're watching from outside of Europe, there is one thing you need to understand before we get started with the entire topic, which is that Switzerland is not part of the European Union. And even though it is surrounded by EU countries, it has historically decided not to join. And Switzerland basically manages its relationship with the EU through what are called bilateral agreements. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about those in this video. So I'm just gonna ask you to bear with me. It will make sense and it will all come together to kind of explain why the price of groceries is so high here in Switzerland. So let's get started. So what does all this have to do with the price of your steak here in Switzerland? Basically, historically, Swiss farmers have a lot of political power. And this is partly to do with the system of direct democracy here in Switzerland. So this means that every quarter or so, there are a number of different initiatives that Swiss citizens vote on. So it's a referendum-based democracy. They also have elections, but a number of very important issues here get voted on directly every couple of months by Swiss citizens. Now, historically and all the way up to today, the Swiss farming lobby has held a lot of political power, and it has kind of managed to successfully lobby this idea that the Swiss agriculture should be protected and that it is a vital part of the economy here. I'm not going to get into any value statements in this video. I'm just going to explain sort of the basics. So I am not going to get into like my opinions and things like that. Just in case you wanted to know those, you can drop a comment and we can get into like another discussion about that. Now, as far as agriculture goes, there are very strict import quotas and tariffs in place to ensure that not too much comes in, and also to ensure that the prices are such that they do not undercut the Swiss farmers' prices. So this is sort of a very basic level explanation of what's keeping the price of food so high here in Switzerland. Now, it might be the case that where you live, the price of groceries is also high, in your opinion. So let's just go to a couple of supermarkets and take a look. The one thing that I did want to mention was the fact that in Switzerland, because the economy, or the sector rather, is so insulated and kind of already very, very high, it isn't subject to a lot of inflation, actually. So food inflation, it tends to be very low, which is to say that the price of groceries is always high. Whereas, like, if you compare to a country like the US, where, I mean, even in the global media, you've heard about the price of groceries there being very high lately. That may be true, but it's more of a roller coaster effect. So they go down and they go up, and it's more affected by global shocks and things like that, which then isn't so much the case here in Switzerland. So let's just go and take a look in the supermarket. So we take theory into practice, and you can actually see how the prices look here in Switzerland. Okay, now that we've seen the numbers, I guess it's safe to establish that a basket of groceries here in Switzerland is one of the most expensive from any country in the world. And with basically meat and dairy predominantly contributing to that higher price. So, what can we expect going forward? So, like I mentioned earlier in the video, Switzerland regulates its trade relationship with the European Union through a series of so-called bilateral agreements. And what's in place now are the bilateral agreements 1 and 2, but those are old and they are set to sort of expire or rust. And now in March of this year, Switzerland and the EU have embarked on signing a new set of bilateral agreements, which are the number 3, as you could probably guess. And should this go through, they would be up for referendum sometime next year. So basically, as much as I have been able to read about them, the agricultural sector will remain sort of protected and some other trade-offs will be made so that Switzerland can continue to secure its access to the single market of the European Union. So this is done sort of as a trade-off both internationally and domestically. So domestically, like I mentioned, the farmers' lobby is very powerful and they could basically block the entire referendum if they don't get what they want. At the same time, Switzerland does need to secure some agreements with the EU because Switzerland, I mean, it's a small country. I believe we're, at like 8.5 million in population now, whereas the EU is, a population of 450 million consumers. So Switzerland definitely does need the EU more than vice versa. So it looks like there are some trade-offs to be made, and it looks like this agreements package will go through. But to sort of sum up, this is likely not to make your groceries any cheaper here in Switzerland. So they will continue to be very protected. They will continue to protect the Swiss farmers and agricultural sector. So I guess it will be the same next year and the year after that. And on a gloomy note, but I guess the positive part of this was what I mentioned is that because it's fairly insulated, this market, on the plus side, we don't experience those price shocks. So food inflation is relatively low. So we will just continue to pay a lot all the time. All right, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.